has one of the biggest funded social work programs across the whole of the public sector there. And it's a really, really developed career, and there's huge networks for social workers over there. I mean, our company alone probably employs about 1,000 contracted social workers across the UK. We also help people find permanent positions in between that too. So it's absolutely massive in the UK. For a lot of you, you'll probably think, all right, I'm going over to the UK. I probably don't know if my family are going to, like the idea of me going there permanently. So a lot of you probably will look at maybe getting a youth mobility visa and going over for, say, a period of 6 months to 2 years. If you guys want to go over and study and sort of have work experience in children's and families, we can support you get into that sort of area. If you decide that you'd like to take a career path in mental health, then again, there's that avenue there. We work across all disciplines and in all areas, so that whatever you guys want, we're very happy to support that and help you along the way. The UK social work sector is really set up in two really broad categories. Either you're working in children and families, which covers everything from adoption and fostering to child protection to youth offending teams, and then across into the adult sector, which can cover asylum seekers or migrants. It can cover mental health, elderly, hospital work, rehab work, and all the rest. But there's a really, really broad spectrum of fields you can get involved in social work. I work in the UK. We have about 100 odd consultants in our office. So amongst that knowledge of the industry and the locations and all of that, there's some really good individuals in the office who'll be able to help you out. And I mean, there are we've got consultants that are physios and consultants that have been social workers themselves, and we've also got people working for the company who have been sort of head of service in terms of social work as well. So we've got a lot of inside information. We also sort of extend that that network off to offer you guys support professionally as well. So we've partnered with a lot of organizations to sort of continue professional development, and we do a lot of courses and a lot of training, everything from the initial sort of overview of things straight through to very specialist courses that people can take along the way as well. Now in terms of the relocation support we offer, it's somebody's here and somebody's in UK and London as well, so everything from helping you decide on who to use for your flights if you need, through to where you're going to actually live, and where you might actually go find friends, and where the Maple Leaf Canadian Bar is in London. I can point you in the right direction of everything. There's great opportunity to contract, it has great financial benefits, but then on the other hand, if you're looking at permanent opportunities, there's some great benefits to that as well, securing a role before you get there, having some company benefits in terms of holiday pay and interest-free car loans and bits and bobs as well. The Canadian market isn't very hot on contractors, and very few local authorities utilise individuals on a specialist basis temporarily. It's very different in the UK, because I'd probably suggest about 60% of the authority or the local council is permanent employees, and then probably another 40% of them are specialist contractors. It works really well because they can really balance the demand of caseload and the number of employees they're taking on at a specific time. So it works really well in terms of their budgeting and their, using government money in the right way. They don't end up having social workers that are sort of sitting around with very few cases, and they can really utilize and change where people are being employed depending on, what's needed in that particular year. The jobs really do range, everything from somebody who's working within schools and actually doing maybe they're working with children who have attendance problems, through to child protection and looked after children, also through to adoption and fostering and so on. So there's a huge range of jobs, and they all are across the whole of the UK. In terms of jobs in non-for-profit agencies, government agencies, private practice and hospitals, it really depends where you want to take your career. You'll probably know that working in a hospital is going to concentrate a lot on discharge planning, and that probably has a lot less of the sort of therapeutic intervention, whereas a lot of the social workers who are in the community going out to homes and helping with care plans for people who need rehabilitation and sort of elderly care and that, tends to have a little bit more interface, and you build a lot more relationships. So it really does depend what you're after. I'll be honest with you guys in that the non-for-profit sector for us isn't a huge area. We don't tend to get a lot of positions up in the non-for-profit. And I think that strictly comes down to sort of the budgets they have in hiring social workers. we tend to find that a lot of the work actually does come up within local government. In the UK, it's called the GSCC registration, and it's the board that covers the whole of Wales and England. There's some specialist ones that operate in Scotland as well. But when you register for the GSCC, during your career, you have to put in a certain number of hours for professional development. These include day courses, evenings that you're learning about new legislations coming up. Some of them include sort of journal and reading groups that are based around local cases and cases that you've seen in the media. Anyway, we support everyone along that sort of training, and we actually pay for it for our candidates. So it's something that can save you a lot of money, sort of incorporating yourself into a recruitment agency, because we can actually help with the training, not only financially help you guys out and paying for it and having you come along to the training we're hosting, but also help you guys in terms of picking the right career route and directing you in the right sort of courses as well. In terms of access to Jobs First, we're actually signed in and partnered with local governments. So we've tendered for the local government business, and sort of every day, each particular local council releases the jobs to us first. So when they have a need for a contractor, because we've tendered and won that particular business, we're constantly providing contractors into that area first. In terms of bonus referral schemes, we have really great bonuses. If you start working for us and refer other social workers to us as well, we'll absolutely pat you on the back and give you financial bonuses for helping, grow our business as well. In terms of the exclusive candidate events, I'll tell you what we did last year. Last year we gathered all of our candidates on a houseboat on the River Thames in London, and we cruised down the River Thames. We had free champagne, free nibbles, free everything. It was absolutely brilliant evening. We had so much fun. We had a DJ, we had everything. I mean, I do month-by-month events with all the internationals in London, which is really great. We sort of pick a bar to meet at, and we have a drink, and we socialise, and everyone gets to know each other. So there's some really, really great networking events out there for you. I mean, you think you're going to show up in this great big city on your own, but there's actually opportunity there for you guys to meet other social workers that are in the exact same situation. This is probably what you guys are really excited about, which is actually how much you're going to get paid if you go over. We've got newly qualified working for us at the moment, which is about £20 to £22 an hour. So I guess the exchange rate at the moment, Dave, do you know what?
$1.65.
Exchange rate's $1.65 at the moment, so it's pretty good money for social workers over there. The way it actually works, you start as a newly qualified in terms of up to a year post-qualified experience. So as soon as you finish your degree and you're out and you're working, newly qualified is considered up to about a year's experience. After that, you move into sort of a basic grade qualified social worker. And you don't actually move into a senior qualified social worker until you start supervising placements. Mm-hmm. So you move into that more senior position when they start buffering you and start sort of preparing you to move in a more management role. And I probably suggest for a lot of internationals coming over, you really do need to start at the basic grade, just because you need to get familiar with local legislation and start understanding the UK laws and the UK terminology before you can start mentoring and sort of managing other staff members. But it moves right up to sort of head of service, and we recruit everyone from the newly qualified, people who've just finished their degree and want to go over straight away, straight up to sort of head of service managers. And that's all on a contract basis, but again, we can look at permanent options as well. Now, as you'd expect, the rates of pay in London are sort of slightly higher than some of the rates of pay out in the more rural areas, but that's really slowly changing as the demand for social workers really increases out in the rural areas. What we're doing is we're trying to attract candidates to those sort of areas with really nice pay rates. So if you wanted to go in, say, the south of Cornwall, where people surf and it's got great beautiful coastlines, there's some really great pay rates there at the moment that actually top the London rates, and you get some nice sort of cheap accommodation in those areas as well.